Good morning, team. I wanted to do a quick little case study on a setup that I found here, so you can see the good, the bad, and I guess really there's no ugly, but when it goes bad, when it doesn't work, and then when it does work, so you can kind of see what the probabilities work on a squeeze setup. So I'm looking at this particular stock here, ADM, and the only reason why I looked at it was because it came up in my scans as potentially set up. It's got a 1 day. 1 day squeeze. Again, this is the pro squeeze, so you guys probably won't get this, and you probably wouldn't have gotten this last squeeze either because it was the black dot, which is only available on the pro version of the squeeze, not the free version. Which again, if you want to, get the pro version, just let me know and I'll throw in a discount on that. But okay, so 1 day squeeze. I wouldn't buy it right now on a 1 day squeeze. I like to have at least minimum three 3 days or 3 bars if I'm in a lower time frame, 3 bars but ideally I want five. I want five, but I can get away with three if I see a nice setup right now. So I wouldn't take action right here right now, but as you can see, I put an alert at 93.10, which is right there at that 21. This kind of chops around, on top and above 21. So somewhere in the 93, 94. Right now it's at it's at $95. It's a good strong stock. It's kind of pulling back. It might be forming a little cup, maybe a little handle. I don't know, it might go sideways for a little bit, but that's the whole point of a squeeze. It's a stock that kind of goes sideways, and then once it squeeze fires, it goes long. So I have an alert. I'm gonna buy 100 shares if it gets to right here to this 93.30, 93.40 range, and I have it there. Maybe for to the end of the week. If by Friday this doesn't hit, then I'll take it off. And the reason why is because in a couple of days this will give me another look. It just changed. It just changed out of a squeeze. That's interesting. Why? Because it's going higher. It's going higher. Just here we go live. Remember that was a black dot a little while ago? If you rewind the video, you're going to see that was a black dot. Now it went to green. That means that it is no longer in a squeeze right now. Right now it's not in a squeeze. Why? Because it's going higher. So it's kind of coming out of the consolidation, which is fine. If it goes back inside this 93.30 range, it will be back in a squeeze. And if I wait another day or two and it stays in this range, it'll definitely be a 3 or 4 day squeeze. And then I'm a buyer at the 21 in my little box right here, my sweet spot. So this is my sweet spot I want to buy between the 8 and the 21. So again, that's where we're at right now. But the reason why I wanted to show you this is because it's a great case study. Look at the last time it was in a squeeze. Okay, it was right here. This is the first day. If you notice right here, first black dot. Let me do this so you can see it. Right there. Right there. Okay, that's the first black dot. Okay, these things don't once they print, they don't change. So this is the first here. Here's when the squeeze started until it fired. Right? So and here's why I say that. Because this is the first green dot. That means the squeeze has just fired. This is the first black dot. That's when it started. If you were 1, 2, 3, minimum 3 days. I want at least 5, but let's say minimum 3 days. So this would have been day 3. Now, would I have bought here realistically? Probably not. Probably not because it's getting out of the spaghetti look and it's kind of getting to a stacked scenario, but it's still too early. Still too early for me. Okay, so I probably wouldn't have bought here. But the next day, I get a momentum bar. It goes from 0, see, negative, negative, negative. Now it's still negative, but now momentum is getting higher here. And then here, it's turning into, now it going into a light blue, which is like momentum is above 0. So now I have a positive 1 over 0 momentum. So, and this day, I probably would have been a buyer. And if I wouldn't have caught it somewhere around here, around 80, let's say 86, definitely the next day when it has this huge big bar, I'm still in a squeeze here, and it comes in here at the 8, I'm a buyer here. Okay? So, and again, if not, then the very next day when it has this tremendous move up and down, somewhere in the squeeze here, I would have been a buyer. And if this shook me out, then for sure on this day I'm a buyer because it's settling in. It's above these guys right here. So I'm still in a squeeze. Momentum is again picking up. So let's say a worst case scenario, I'm gonna buy it right here. It's still the same 86. So you're still looking around at the same 86 level, right? What happens when the squeeze fires? You fire it up here. Again, you wouldn't have bought it anywhere here. You would not have bought it here, here, here because it's already above the 8. Your buying point was in the 86 range. Okay? And look, squeeze fires. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 strong momentum bars. But I'm definitely out. Like maybe on this day right here, I'm out. If not for sure on this day. But either way, I'm probably gonna be out at the same range, so it's 94. So I bought it at 86 and I sold it at 84. That's an 8-point move. That's an 8% move, 9% move on a $100 stock. That's not bad. You're picking up 9% from 1024 to let's say 11.7. And it's like what, 2.5 weeks? Let's say 3 weeks. In less than a month, you pick up 10% roughly on a squeeze setup. But that's why you don't need like 17 or 18 stocks in your portfolio. You pick up 1 or 2. If you pick up 7 or 8% a month, guys, that's like over 60, 70, 80% a year return. I mean, that's like, that's a pretty good living. So this is the power of the squeeze. Now I want to show you the bad. When it doesn't work, here's a squeeze, right? You see it right here? That's day 1 of a squeeze, the first blue dot. Again, you guys would not have picked this up. You guys would have picked it up here on the free one, on the free squeeze indicator. You would have picked it up here in this day. But let's say right here. This is the first day of the squeeze, right? Right here. And then when does the squeeze fire? It fires right there, right? The green dot. That's the green dot. That's when it fires. That's the first one. So let's say you guys would have picked it up somewhere here. All right, so perfect scenario. Here we go. When would I have bought it? I wouldn't have bought it day 1. I would not have bought it day 2. Most likely, I would have bought it day 3, right? Which is like I'm still in a squeeze. Day 3. Now it's looking as a blue momentum bar. So momentum is higher. Ooh, I'm sneaking in here. I'm stacked, right? I'm stacked. My EMAs are stacked. Everything is perfectly set up. And I have a buy right here between the 8 and my sweet spot. So let's say I would have bought it somewhere around 87, 82, 87, 80, around there. All right? So here's my buy. The next day, momentum goes lower, and the very next day, now I go to red. See how it kind of turns a little bit red there? Let me see if I could increase this. You see how it's red? It goes to a little bit red here. That means now it's below the 0 line, right? And this day happens right here. And then either way, when am I out? I'm out below the 21. So if I buy it here in my sweet spot, let me clean this up so it can make sense here. If I'm buying in this sweet spot, where am I out? Below the 8. I'm out below the 21. Sorry, below the 21. So when it breaks the 21, I'm out, right? So I bought it, like I said, I would have bought it somewhere around 87, 80. And when am I out? I'm out right here. The very next day, when it breaks the 21, I'm not letting it get away from me. The 21 is that's why this system works, because my risk is very defined below a 21. So let's say I would have sold it, let's say 86, 70. Let's say I would have lost $1, right? 87, 80. I would have sold it 86, 80. Let's say, so $1. I lost $1. Let's say I would have had a couple hundred shares. I lost $200. In this scenario, if I would have had a couple hundred shares, it went up 9 points. I would have made $1,800. Okay, so you see the difference. So I would have gotten stopped out. And look here, now it's kind of shooting to the downside, right? And it's breaking down. When did I get out? I got out right here when it broke 21. I'm not holding through all this and this mess. And then even if it comes back in here, it's still below the 0 line. It's a red dot. It's a red momentum bar. I'm only buying in blues. I wouldn't have bought it, and then boom, you go all the way down to like 80. You avoid all this mess. You got spaghetti here. It's a mess. You sit around. Oh, here's another squeeze, and it's coming up again. You start tracking it. Here we go. That's the one I mentioned before, and you made 9 points. So you lose 200, you make 1,800. That's a squeeze, guys. Plain and simple. I love it.